For me, the very first jazz piano album I can recall hearing was an album my piano teacher brought me. It was a 10-inch MGM LP called You're Hearing George Shearing.
Oh.
And I remember hearing that album and saying, whoa, who is this guy? Listen to that technique. And yet there's this wonderful rhythmic thing going, and he's improvising. And I want to hear more of this music. And so I listened to a lot of Shearing. Then she brought in some Art Tatum, and I listened to Tatum. I was very drawn early on to Dave Brubeck, Lenny Tristano, particularly Billy Taylor for his consummate taste and touch. And in terms of pianists that I heard very early on and was greatly moved by, I would have to say Billy Taylor would be very high on the list. There was a little club called the Streamliner in Chicago on the near west side. And again, because I was tall, I could get in there. And I remember just spending nights listening to the Billy Taylor Trio, and it just was wonderful music. Then I got a chance to hear Oscar Peterson at the London House in Chicago, which used to be a wonderful supper club. And remember not only being knocked out by Oscar, but even more so by Ray Brown, just the force and the drive of that playing. And I was thinking, gee, I hope someday I can play with a bass player like that. You know?
Yeah.
So I would say that those were my earliest pianistic influences, along with Bud Powell, because I heard Bud a little bit after I'd been listening to Billy Taylor, and Bud knocked me out too. But then I very quickly was listening even more to Miles and to Coltrane and Charlie Parker, and I loved drummers and bass players, and I played some bass and played some drums, played some high school and college type gigs on both instruments, because I wanted to get an idea of what all the instruments were that play in the trio.